Dennis, thank you for making time.
Welcome. I'm so happy to be here.
Great. Now, for the last 7 months, schools have been on total shutdown after the confirmation of the first COVID-19 case in the country. I want to find out from you, as a teacher and a public school teacher, how has your experience been through this time?
It's been very difficult, just like anybody else. You know, when in the middle of a pandemic, it's a lot of stress because I think this is the moment that people have realized that our health is so fickle, and so it brings a lot of stress with it. But I've taken this time to reflect. As a teacher, when you have a break, you reflect about your teaching, what you can do better when schools reopen. So I've done a lot of that. And also I've tried to turn it around to make sure that I take online courses. So I'm updating myself and building my capacity in the process.
That's very noble of you and very good to hear. However, speaking of resumption of education, the TSC ordered teachers to go back to school on the 28th of September, which teachers rightfully did, and you're our teacher. When you resumed back to school, what did you guys do, or what's going on in school currently?
Okay, so what we're expected to do is to come up with plans, because every school is unique in its own way. Come up with plans on how to safely resume learning. So which means that you have to think about social distancing, you know, sanitation points and everything else. And this can only happen if you do a meeting like in the school. So that is what is happening now. Teachers are having meetings, forming committees to take care of different aspects of this resumption. So that is what we do.
Teacher's perspective, who's always in school with these children every single day, how practical is a reopening amid the COVID-19 pandemic as we know it?
It's difficult because we know in Kenya it's so difficult to have social distancing, and we've been told that as long as we do this according to the laid down protocols, we're going to be safe. But I think I speak for everybody who is concerned that it is going to be about our health first. And of course, teachers are ready to reopen. I just hope that they're going to do it, the powers that be are going to do it in a way that is safe for everyone else to do. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. And do you think that the government is communicating clearly, or is sending mixed messages with regards to reopening of schools? Because today they say the curve is flattening, we might reopen. Tomorrow they say, no, that's not what we said, we'll do it in a systematic way. What do you make of this communication?
The communication obviously is not clear. And because it is not clear, it brings about a lot of confusion, because different stakeholders need to be on the same page. This is the only way you can now start to talk about reopening. But now when we are confused as we are, it is difficult. And of course, everyone wishes that we could do better communication for everyone else to be prepared. And so if it were to happen, then we could plan better, because now teachers are in school, we still don't know the date. So it's difficult even for lesson planning and everything else.
As a teacher, what would you need, or what must be done so that you feel safe ahead of the reopening?
Wow, tough question. Tough question, because when you're thinking about the different ways that learners are going to be interacting, it's really difficult, because I'm thinking about teaching in a mask. I teach language, I teach English, and teaching in a mask, the students are having masks on, is going to deny us some kind of connection. So I think the first thing is about safety, to make sure that we are safe. And this is going to be in very many aspects. But as things stand, I think even teachers do not feel safe because of the interaction we have with students. So social distancing, if that can work, and the sanitation points.
And today, the world is celebrating the World Teachers' Day. I want to find out from you, from all these years you've been teaching, what has been your experience as a teacher, the good, the highs and the lows?
The highs is, I've been teaching for 8 years, and the highs happen when students connect with you, and you can see it in their faces that you are making a difference. One of the things that happened 4 years ago, a student in Form 3 brought me a manuscript of poems. I'm very passionate about poetry. And then we worked on it, I edited it, and then 2 years later when they had left school, they published a book. You know, those kind of things, yeah. And then they're on TV talking about the book, they're talking about the teacher who helped them bring the dream to reality. It's such a humbling moment. And then 2 years ago, Form 1 students made a birthday party for me. So I think it made me feel like I was doing the right thing. That is the highs. The lows, it is very stressful. There's a lot of work that goes on behind the scenes, and you never seem to get enough time to do your own kind of things. Yeah.
Good stuff. Now, as we wind up the interview, the theme for this year is how teachers can help reimagine the future. I want to find out from you, what role can teachers play in helping reimagining the future? And as teachers do this, what can we do for them to ensure that we dignify the line of duty that they're in?
Wow. So our training, traditional training, does not prepare us to ask a very important question, the why. We are taught to know what we teach and how to teach it, but we are never asked to ask why we teach it. Because when we ask why we teach it, and when we realize that teaching is about connections, it's about building relationships. So when you're going to start reimagining the future, it's about teachers trying to realize that teaching is about reimagining that relationship that we have with students to bring out the best of them. And when we do that, the schools are going to be safer. Even the profession is going to be more dignified. And everyone else should also push towards that, because if we empower the teachers, we treat them with dignity, and then they're going to give their best every time.
Thank you so much, Dennis, for making time.
You're welcome.
Thank you.